What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and we're back again in Pixel season. So we have the Google Pixel 7 Pro and the Google Pixel Watch LTE model, and I'm really looking forward to showing you my initial thoughts on both of these items here in this video. Now, these devices were sent to me yesterday, so this is not my review. That'll be out eventually. Everything featured in this video is a gift from Google, but of course, all opinions expressed in this video are completely my own. Now, the Pixel 7 Pro retails at an MSRP of $899, and with the Pixel Watch, you can get this for $349 with the regular model, or if you want to get a version of it with LTE, that is an extra $50 at $399. But I'm going to put the Pixel 7 Pro off to the side for a second here and show you a few things about the watch first, and then we'll get back to the phone. So here is the box the Pixel Watch comes in. You can see here that it does feature Fitbit integrations, which is really cool. And if you're not aware, this is the first time ever that there's been a Pixel Watch, so it is really cool to see that they are offering this as yet another addition to the growing Pixel ecosystem. Now in the box, we're getting some literature. We're also getting a proprietary Qi-powered charger featuring USB-C on the other end. However, there is no wall adapter included in the box, so keep that in mind. And that is also the case for the phone as well. We have a larger band that is pre-installed, and then there's also a smaller band included as well in case that's necessary. Now the watch band that we're getting here is definitely really high quality. It doesn't feel cheap or lower end at all. It also feels very durable, so that's great. Definitely an important thing with a watch. Now putting on the watch is also very straightforward. Kind of difficult to do in front of the camera, but let me give that a try here. And here we go, the watch is now on. Now what's really cool about this watch is that it features a circular design. So if you're not a big fan of how the Apple Watch is more of a rectangular shape, then here you go. This is a little bit more reminiscent of a traditional watch, just that it has a large display here. Now speaking of the display is 1.2 inches. It does feature Corning Gorilla Glass 5, which makes it extra durable. It's also AMOLED, which is really nice as well. It features a peak brightness of 1000 nits. It has an aspect ratio of 450 by 450 with a PPI of 320. And it does feature an always-on display, as you'd imagine, since it is a smartwatch. And then to get a couple of the other tech specs out of the way, this watch does feature 32 gigabytes of internal storage. As you can imagine, there is no microSD card expansion, and then it is Qi wireless compatible, which is the only way to charge it. We also have 2 gigabytes of RAM. It features the Exynos 9110 processor. We have a 294 milliamp hour internal battery. It runs Android Wear OS 3.5. And then it does have NFC along with an IP68 rating. And then as far as the mobile connectivity goes, if you do opt for the LTE version of this watch, it does feature eSIM. So that is how you end up actually connecting to the network itself. Now this is the default watch face right now. I'm definitely gonna have to explore things a bit more for the review video, but for now, I'm just keeping things on the default here. Now if you swipe down from that home screen there, you'll actually find a lot of the various applications, kind of a quick launch to get to those. You can see, for example, we have a flashlight option. I'll give that a try right now. Kind of interesting. What's cool too is that you can control your smart home with the watch. You can also make mobile payments, hence it having NFC. And then we can get to the full list of apps by pressing on the crown on the side here. And then using the crown, we can scroll through this list. You can also scroll on the actual display itself. And you can see there's all kinds of different options. Of course, you can add more as well, but we have an alarm, assistant, camera, contacts, find my phone, some Fitbit options here as well, flashlight, your Google Wallet. This one kind of confused me at first, internet, because that's the Samsung internet icon, but it turns out that I must have had that already associated with my Google account, so when I paired it up here, this popped up. I thought at first that maybe they were using Samsung's browser as the default browser, but that is not the case. However, with this, you actually do have access to a full web browser, which is pretty awesome. So you can see there's the Google homepage, and you can even use the crown here to scroll. Now, one of the things that I was doing earlier in the day, which technically would be yesterday from the time that I'm posting this video, is that I did use Google Maps to help me navigate. I went for a bike ride to go pick up breakfast with my e-bike, and I ended up using navigation here on my wrist. So that was really convenient, and I did post that on my Twitter as it was happening, so that's kind of cool. Definitely follow me on Twitter, by the way. There's also another button right here that takes us over to our recent apps, so that's also helpful as well. So overall, definitely a lot of different things to test out here with the Google Pixel Watch. I'm going to save a lot of that for the full review video just because I do want to spend definitely a lot more time with this, as I'm not totally too familiar myself with smartwatches. I really don't use them that often, so this is really the first one that I've owned in a long time. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting the full experience out of it and reporting back to you. But now getting over to the main attraction, this is the Pixel 7 Pro. And I'm really happy with the color that Google chose to give me. Now this phone is offered in a variety of different colors. I do think all of them look really good, but I definitely like this configuration quite a bit. Now, in general, with the Pixel 7 Pro compared to the Pixel 6 Pro, it's not like this phone is a dramatic redesign. It's really just an evolution from its predecessor. That being said though, they took all the things that the Pixel 6 Pro was lacking and they addressed pretty much all of those things here with this phone. So for example, the in-display fingerprint sensor was not very good, actually pretty bad with the Pixel 6 Pro. Now with the Pixel 7 Pro, it's awesome. Really fast and responsive, as you can see right there. Let's do it one more time. There we go, it works really well, so that's great. And another thing too is, with the Pixel 6 Pro, there is no face unlock, and with the Pixel 7 Pro, we do now have face unlock. If it can see me through the camera here, there we go, it worked. So that's very fast and responsive as well, and definitely a nice option. I think using face unlock in conjunction with the fingerprint sensor really is the ideal experience when using a mobile device. So I'm glad that we're getting that here with this phone. Now with the Pixel 6 Pro, we did have a very curved display. Now with the Pixel 7 Pro, there is still a curve, but it's definitely a lot less of a curve. And I feel like this is probably the best balance between having a flat display and a curved display. So that's certainly an improvement as well. And then overall, just appearance-wise, I think the Pixel 7 Pro does look nicer than its predecessor. So essentially with the Pixel 6 Pro, they had a solid foundation to start with, but they really took things up a notch here with the Pixel 7 Pro. And I know I already mentioned this, but for me at least, it's the fingerprint sensor that really has me impressed. That was probably my biggest frustration by far with the Pixel 6 Pro, was the in-display fingerprint sensor. Honestly, with that device, I felt like the Galaxy S10 had a better in-display fingerprint sensor. But now, with the Pixel 7 Pro, this is very competitive, if not as good as it possibly could be. Now beyond that, many of the other specifications are mostly the same. This phone does have the Google Tensor G2 processor, so it is the second generation of the Tensor processor, and it does seem to further refine things. I mean, performance has been great here. I did run a Geekbench 5 benchmark test, so there it is for what it's worth, but I think overall, they're not looking to have this phone be the best as far as benchmarks go. They're really focused on the experience, and thankfully, they've really delivered when it comes to that. They've also given this phone a lot of other bonus features too. They've further evolved Magic Eraser. They've also added some other features too, where you can unblur a photo that might be accidentally blurry. Again, I'm going to show a lot of these things in more detail in the full review video, but I just wanted to touch on it for now. The display is essentially the same size, 6.7 inches. It features Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, so nice and durable. We also have this really great looking LTPO AMOLED display running at 120 Hz, so that's also fantastic. Now the phone does feature a 1440p display, but keep in mind that by default, it is in 1080p, so you'll want to go to your display settings and switch that over to 1440. We have a PPI of 512, a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, and we have an 88.8% screen to body ratio. So really small bezels all throughout, and then a hole punch for the front facing camera. Now the front camera is 10.8 megapixels, and I'm gonna save my photo samples for the full review video, so stay tuned for that. But essentially with all the cameras with this device, they've certainly made a variety of improvements, really taking things to the next level. The phone does feature 128 gigabytes of internal storage, but there is no microSD card expansion, so keep that in mind. The device does have wireless charging, and it is at 23 watt maximum, which is pretty good. And then taking a look at the rear cameras, we do have kind of a modified, different camera bar here on the back, a slightly different design. But in general, we have the same camera features. So there's a regular camera, an ultra-wide camera, and a telephoto camera, but we've gotten improvements with all those cameras. Now the first thing is, the main camera is 50 megapixels. The telephoto camera is 48 megapixels, but this time around, it does feature a 5-time optical zoom. So the Pixel 6 Pro, I believe, had a 3-time optical zoom, so that's quite a bit better. And then for the ultra-wide camera, It is 12 megapixels, but they've increased the amount of view that it can fit. So it's 126 degrees, so that's really great as well. So you can really fit quite a bit there into one photo. And then with this device, we do of course have portrait mode for the front and rear cameras. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is with the main camera right now. Then from there, we can switch over to that ultra wide angle camera to fit a lot more content into the frame. We can then switch over to that telephoto camera to get that 5x optical zoom. So really nice to have that there. Definitely a big fan of that. There's also all kinds of other features all throughout the camera app. Portrait mode, of course. We have long exposure mode, action pan. As you can see, I haven't even had a chance to test this out yet. So again, this is not a review. This is my first impressions, but that being said though, in my less than 24 hours with this device, I've definitely learned quite a bit about it still. We have night sight. Definitely looking forward to going out and taking some night photos with this device. Then for video mode, we do have 4K 60 FPS for the front camera as well as the rear, so that's great as well. Cinematic blur too, so you can get almost like a portrait mode when you're taking a video. I still have to test that out as well. So as you've probably noticed, there's still quite a bit that I have to try out and experience here with the Google Pixel 7 Pro. But definitely a lot of really cool proprietary editing options. To test out the Magic Eraser, I'm going to take a photo of this box, and then I'm going to remove the logo on the box. So here we go, there's the photo. Gonna go to edit here. Gonna go to tools, Magic Eraser, and we'll let that load there. And then let's get rid of the G logo. And there we go, it's gone. Let's now remove the Pixel 7 Pro text. And there we go. It looks totally normal and natural, almost as if there was never any logo or writing on that portion of the box. So that's a pretty cool feature. So that's just one example of the many proprietary software features here on the Google Pixel 7 Pro. Now, as far as the hardware itself goes, this phone is about as premium as it can get. It looks really nice. We have very small bezels all throughout, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. On the right side of the phone, we have the power button, volume up and volume down. On the left side of the phone, we have just the slot for the SIM card. Then up top here, we have a noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the device, we have the speaker, microphone, and USB-C port for charging and data transfer. Then on the back of the phone, we have the revamped camera module and then the Google logo. And that's pretty much it. So in general, really stylish, modern, sleek looking device. Definitely a big fan of it. And again, we've got that nice, fast, and responsive in-display fingerprint sensor. So all in all, the Pixel 7 Pro is an evolution from its predecessor, but they've pretty much improved every weak point that that device had. Now with every piece of technology, there is still some room for improvement. And there's two things that this phone does not have that I do wish it did have. The first thing is HDMI out via the USB-C port. So with flagship devices from some other Android manufacturers, you can plug into the USB-C port, and with the right adapter, you can have the display be mirrored onto your TV. Unfortunately, you cannot do that here with the Pixel 7 Pro, so that is pretty disappointing, and I feel like it would have been something that would have been relatively easy for them to include here. And then the second thing that I wish this had, which I know it is asking for a lot, but I wish we had some sort of desktop mode. Now I understand that many people don't use that on devices that have that, but at the same time, look, Google has an awesome desktop operating system called Chrome OS, and I really wish that you could plug this phone into a larger display and essentially have Chrome OS on that display. I think that would really make an already very useful phone even more useful. So those are two things that are on my personal wish list for the Pixel 8. But for now, I've been very impressed with the Pixel 7 Pro, and I really applaud them for putting in a lot of extra time and effort to really take the Pixel line to the next level here. So excellent job, Google, and I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time with this device over the next few weeks, and then I'll give you my full review video of it. But most importantly, I'm really curious to know what you think about both the Pixel Watch and Pixel 7 Pro. Let me know in the comment section below, but this is Kevin here, and if you are interested in either of these two devices, I have linked them in the video description. But again, this is a gift from Google. I am part of Team Pixel, and with all that said, I will see you in the next one.